Hey guys, welcome back to Full Package RC. It has been a little while here for us. Sorry about that. We've been pretty busy, but we are here tonight. Myself, Bob. We're here with Mike
Yo,
and Aaron.
What's up?
And tonight we are going to do sort of our Ircha wrap-up video. Give all of our thoughts, the good, the bad, the ugly. Not really much in the way of bad and ugly. That phrase just sounds a whole lot better that way. But we're going to go over all our thoughts from Ircha. Ircha 2024. I'll get the year right this time. But since it's been so long since we've kind of recorded, I figure we'll go through. Let's kind of catch up with everybody, see what we've all been up to, and I guess we can start with Mike or Aaron. Who wants to go first?
Mike, what you been up to, buddy? Tell us.
yeah, I can go. A lot of work, and more work. I've been getting a little busy last couple weeks with work, so doing that. But that's good because that means I'm making more hobby money, so that's always a good thing. Other than the Ircha trip, let's see what else. We upgraded our camper.
Ooh.
Me and the wife went and traded in we used to have an A-liner, one of those A-frame super light pop-up hard-sided campers. Traded that in and got us a nice, travel trailer and got to use it for the first time at Ircha and worked out really well. So got some stuff we got to do, take it up and get some warranty issues taken care of because, man, they build those things like total shit these days. It's almost embarrassing.
Mass produced, baby.
Oh, it's terrible. Like,
slap that
that's
shit
terrible.
together.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
like
don't even give you a funnel when you buy it.
no, there is better quality coming off of the hamburger line at McDonald's. It's pretty rough. So I've been a total pain in their ass since we bought it. So and I'm gonna continue to be until I feel like it's like I got my money's worth either in complaints or shit getting fixed. Because I've been fixing a lot of it myself and then just calling them and chewing them out about it. So
I would.
almost to the point I'm enjoying it now. But
Of course, why not?
yeah. So other than that, some heli swapping aroundage, which we can kind of dig into a little bit later.
But that's nothing new for you, though, in fairness.
Yeah, I know.
He's always swapping.
I know, he's
I
always
like to
back
play,
and forth with helis, this heli, that heli, and
I get bored easy.
apparently.
No.
What happens when you have ADT and you fly helicopters?
Mike treats his helis like he treats his women. Gets bored easy. Moves on to another.
Eh.
I don't know. Me and Dana have been together for 16 years, so
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys have been together a long time.
yeah. Wait,
That's a little bit.
yeah, a little bit of time. But yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of update. Just work stuff, which you guys probably don't want to hear about. But
Got to work hard to play.
kind of glad to do another one of these. I was kind of missing it for a minute there. So
Absolutely. All right. Well, you were just working a working machine, so nothing there exciting.
yeah,
But at least you have all your goodies here to, buy all your new helis, buy all your new campers, get all that kind of good stuff. That's always a good thing.
yeah. It's been a good summer so far. So it's good.
Nice. All right. Well, then I guess we'll move over to Aaron and see if there's anything new with him.
Oh man, not a whole lot new. Kind of in the same boat as Mike, just working a lot. I work third shift, so I work really weird, strange hours. Pretty much just come home, and in what little free time I have, I do a lot of either, not a whole lot of sim racing, but a lot of sim drifting. I know Mike does a lot of the sim racing. And being I'm kind of home during the day, I have some time to do some of the sim drifting competitions in a little bit higher scale. That's about it. That's really all I've had time to do. I really haven't been out doing a whole lot of real car stuff this year. Really work, which has been a great thing, and a lot of sim drift comps this summer. That's about it. Staying up with my drifting skills, and that's about it for right now. I definitely want to get more flying in, but this year just hasn't exactly let that happen. So we'll see. But right now, that's about it. Work and drifting.
All right. Yeah. I mean,
What have you been up
unfortunately, even for me, I nothing really exciting. Working, pretty much working all the time. And was getting ready for Ircha. Spent some time getting all the helis and everything ready there, and making sure I had everything all sorted out and ready to go. Yeah, and then just trying to figure out things to promote the podcast here, and working on my YouTube on the side, and trying to get those things moving and get more subscribers and all that kind of good stuff, and put together videos. That's kind of how I spend most of my free time, and working on stuff. So nothing new, nothing exciting. Same old, same old. It's funny. I'm lucky where I work at a hobby shop, but I still really enjoy all aspects of hobbies. So I go to work, I kind of have fun there at work, and then I come home and still get to work on stuff where I actually just built a car for a customer, old school Tamiya Blackfoot, which was kind of fun to build. So I kind of do that at night, listen to some music and do that. But yeah, for myself,
When you're
nothing.
not building more drift chassis.
Or yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, you know what? That's
You're like
true.
an
I
addict
did
now with
get.
that.
I didn't build another drift chassis, but I did get another body. So yeah, you're right. I forgot about that.
Which you're doing a million of.
Well, no. So now I just got an S13. I actually just came today from Super G Drift. I did have a custom livery made for my RC Speed Racer stuff. So I'm going to be doing that livery on that body, but it's kind of cool because now I actually have like the S chassis covered. I have the S13, S14, S15. So
Wow, fanboy, huh?
I just kind of wanted to do it just because. But if I had to pick
Little
one,
bit.
I would definitely take an S15. I think I like that body a lot better. That style looks cooler.
So what is would you say Super G Drift? What is that?
Super G Drift is a company. I think they're located out of like Sacramento or something, out of California.
Yes. Yep.
And they basically specialize in like a lot of drift, RC car drifting. They actually have, it used to
High-end
be,
drifting stuff.
yeah, they used to
Like-
actually be like a car customizing, real car customizing shop.
Specifically Miata. It was just a
Yes.
Miata shop.
Yep. And then they kind of the guys got into drifting, RC drifting, and then they completely spun the shop around to where now they specialize in RC drifting, high-end RC drifting, and they have one of probably the premier RC drift tracks in the country. So they have a good selection of stuff. So when I was looking, I found the body I wanted. It's the S13 with the Origin Labo body kit and stuff onto it. So had to get that. I'll put the livery on, customize it, make it my own, and go from there. But that's what Super G Drift is.
Nice.
If you're
It's not sponsored, by the way. We're not sponsored
No.
by them. I feel like that sounded like a sponsored segment.
No,
I
Yeah,
wish
that-
we were.
Like I've seen it on social media and stuff, but I didn't know it was like a website that sells parts and stuff like that. That's
Mhm.
kind of cool. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, like Aaron said, not a sponsor thing, but I'll give props, where it's due. And they've always been very good fulfilling orders, shipping real quick, and get me what I needed. So always been pretty happy with this, with the service and what I've got from them. Plus, they're one of those companies that all the heli guys would like because you open up the order and you get a little candy in there too. So
Yeah, they do got the good stuff.
yeah, there's always some good candy in there. I think one of the times I ordered it was like some Japanese style candy. So it was actually kind of cool.
Yeah, BK Hobbies used to give out mints, and the last couple orders, I don't know if it's because Bert knows who I am and doesn't want to give me mints, or if they just quit giving out mints. But the last couple of times I ordered there, I didn't get any mints.
He's like, fuck this guy. He's anti-goblin. We ain't
I think
gonna-"
that's what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. Because I don't order that very often, but now that he's stocking like Tron parts and XL Power parts, stuff like that, I've been, trying to share the love a little bit here and there.
Although you'll need
And,
goblin parts because even though you're
yeah,
an
I might-
anti-goblin boy, you have a goblin.
Yeah, I do have a goblin,
That's right.
so I might have to cut him off again if I don't get some damn mints.
So, if anybody there at BK is listening to this, if you're one of our 4 listeners, then, maybe you could hook Mike up with a couple extra mints next time you order something.
Yeah,
That would be
yeah.
good.
These guys they're tired of smelling my nasty breath.
They they weren't
Yeah, I
giving out
told
mints
that
for a
for
while because they
Urcha
were saving
weekend.
it all for Urcha. They had to keep everything for there.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we're a bunch of just boring guys that just work all the time and really nothing new to update, at least not yet anyway, on updates, we'll hopefully have some better stuff coming soon. Once we
Yeah,
start get past the heli
be
stuff and get
fair-
into some other racing. What's that?
to be fair, I said to be fair.
To be fair.
A lot of the stuff coming up to Ircha and at Ircha is probably most of our update anyway. So.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Pretty
I
much.
promise. If you haven't shut this off yet, it will hopefully get a little more entertaining for you.
Yeah. We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll discuss Urcha, and then if you were there, you'll already know. If you weren't there, you can listen and pretend you were there. How's that?
And how entertaining our day one was.
Hey,
How lovely and
day
awesome that
one
was.
was good. It was I was tired, but it was good. So I guess if we start, all right. So if we jump into this and we get into the Urcha thing, so our days. I know a lot of you guys, if you were there, some guys were there a week early already. I mean, the event went from I think it was the 7th to the 11th was the technical dates, but you saw guys showing up a whole week ahead of time, setting up their campers and going out and doing stuff, which is absolutely mind-boggling to be there that long. But it's still pretty
Well,
cool.
a lot of them went to because they still do the heli nats and stuff.
Yeah.
Before, so some guys were competing in that. Some guys go to watch that, and I think they were looking for volunteers to help set the field up and stuff like that because their volunteer what am I looking for? Attendance this year or people that offered to volunteer was very, very slim.
Yeah, I saw that.
Um,
Unfortunately.
yeah, so hopefully as a community we can help them out in that, because I think it's going the right direction now. But at any rate, we'll dig into that a little bit more too. So
Yeah. No, you're right though. I forgot about the all the heli stuff that goes on beforehand with the gnats and all that sort of stuff. Plus, there was actually something. If you go out to the AMA field, there was a whole bunch of control line stuff going on. I think did they call it the bluebird gnats? I think maybe is what it was called. I might be wrong on that, but I saw some signs out there for that. And if you've never seen some really good control line, I got to say it was kind of cool. And with how fast some of that stuff went around, and when they did the streamers, that was actually kind of neat to see. It was something a little bit different, how they controlled how fast they went. But if anybody wants to say, and I apologize for this next part in advance, but if anybody calls Heli Guys nerdy, go watch the control line doing streamers. Am I right?
yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah. I mean, hey, helmets are cool in certain aspects, but when you're walking out with a little RC plane and you're wearing a helmet and knee pads and elbow pads, it's cool. It's ultimately really cool what you end up seeing them do. It's just really funny from the untrained eye, from someone who's never seen it before. You see someone out there laying it down with a 700-800 size heli, a flying lawnmower, with no protection, no nothing, and then you see these guys go out, and it's again, I understand why they do it. I'm not knocking it. I think it's just absolutely freaking hysterical seeing it.
You see these guys ready to walk out. It looks like they're about to, lay it down, crazy skateboarding on a half pipe or something, the way they're all done. And then they have the little plane firing up the little Cox engine and letting it rev out. But to each his own. But it was, that all said, it was still really cool to watch. And
cooler than
had
I
a kind of
thought,
a good
faster
time.
than I thought. Some of them were doing 3D. Some of the precision they had was I've never seen in my life, that level of flying in a control line.
Yeah.
So I give them credit. The guys that were there were damn good, and it was really interesting to watch. There was many times I drove over just to watch, just sit there for 20-30 minutes, watch a little while. It was that shit was cool.
I think the most impressive part for me was how they can spin around in a circle like that for 3-4 minutes straight, nonstop, and then be able to actually walk away in a straight line without falling over.
Yeah, we saw nobody
puking all over themselves.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have been able to do that.
No, hell no. I'd have to sit down for a minute.
Yeah, my old ass would have been puking.
Yep.
So for both of us, technically all of our day one was on Thursday. Mike, I believe you arrived pretty much the middle of the night.
Technically Thursday. It was like 1:30 in the morning.
Yeah. So it was technically Thursday. And then all you wanted to do is get there, get set up, and try to sleep in until some asshole pulled in and accidentally was parked at your camper and set off their car alarm.
Yeah, what a decade.
Sorry about that. I was that said asshole, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was all good. I actually didn't want to sleep in. I wanted to get up and get a cup of coffee in and get the day started, because we like just kind of shoved stuff out of the way so we can get on the bed and go to sleep. So
yeah,
I didn't want to spend most of the day sorting through that, which I ended up doing anyways. So my Thursday was almost burnt, just kind of organizing, setting stuff out, and getting ready for the weekend.
Yeah,
so,
there you were there trying to get some of that sleep thing. That was something I didn't have for a while there. So we're about 9 hours away. I'm from Eastern Pennsylvania, and we decided to leave home at 10 o'clock at night on Wednesday night and drive through. However, if I back up, I had to work Wednesday, come home from work Wednesday to pack up, get ready to go. We leave, we drive through the night. We get there Thursday morning. I figured if I take a nap sometime during the day, I'd be good. Said nap never happened until I finally went to bed that night. I was up 45 hours, and I definitely don't want to do that again. That was a little bit rough, but I do want to give a big shout out to the mobile mechanic team of Mike and Aaron, because to make our trip interesting, literally 5 minutes after we left, I had actually just picked up Aaron. We stopped to get some drinks to start our journey, and I hear rubbing on my car, and we're thinking, oh, it was the heat shield on my brakes. See, everything seemed to be fine. So we drive.
It wasn't.
We drive almost 600 miles. We get out there. We're casually talking about it throughout the day. Mike says, let's take the wheel off and check. Well, late afternoon, they take the wheel off, they check. My brake pads, my rotors, it's all toast. So
No. You can't call them brake pads because there was no pad left there. It
There was a
just,
little
Yeah, there
pad
was
left.
metal shavings that were
No,
Yep.
no,
tweaking.
no. It
You were
was a little
stopping
bit
with
of a
shavings,
pad.
buddy.
The back pads were a little more worn than the fronts, but there was still some there. So that was my bad. I'm usually always good for preventative maintenance, but I really screwed the pooch and dropped the ball on that one.
You could run your fingers down these rotors, and it was like brrrr. It was. They were destroyed.
It was pretty fucking bad. Yeah, there's no way around it. So these guys, big props to these guys because there we are. They jacked the car up. They took care of it because by this point I was 36 hours awake and I was about useless as a tits on a bull because my mental capacity just wasn't quite there. And anybody who knows me knows it's already not usually there. So I was pretty tired. They do brakes. They put everything on. Even broke a couple bolts. But it was a good time, and
yeah, you were you had a mini panic attack.
a little bit.
We had to shuffle you off to go talk to Larry for a while.
I didn't really
We had to
have.
make you walk away forcibly.
Well, no, I didn't have a mini panic attack. I was like, "What broke?" And you guys are no, nothing broke, and I knew the sound of a breaking bolt at that point, but I was just like, "Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go drink another beer," and it all got done.
Once we finished, it was funny because I looked like that psychopath on the sideline of Ircha on the really long road on the right, bedding the brakes, doing like, I'm not gonna say, but a fast speed to bed brakes, on the premises. So that was fun.
Yeah,
Yeah, it all worked. It worked good, and I had brakes for the return trip. Everybody was good, and it made for an exciting story. Although I just don't understand why so many people had to walk up to us and go, "Oh, are you doing brakes?" I mean, the wheels are off, the rotors are off. What's it look like we're doing? So I so bad just wanted to tell someone we were draining the radiator, and this is how we found online to do it, but never did. I just never understood people who we didn't know how to walk up and just say, "Oh, are you doing brakes?" Well, what the hell does it look like we're doing?
I started telling people that we like to take the wheels off and see how long it takes to put it back together.
Yeah, just because.
Yeah,
we're practicing the NASCAR team. We're just trying to get this all down pat.
Yeah. One guy pulled up and he said, "Man, you guys are. You don't care where you're at, what time it is. When it's time to rotate your tires, you're rotating them tires, huh?"
That's pretty good. But that was basically our Thursday, and then just having a few drinks, cruising around the golf cart. I don't think I got any flying in at all. It was good. Or no, I don't think I did any flying Thursday.
Yeah, I got one Thursday either.
I think I did one flight Thursday, and then I packed it. I was like, that's all I wanted today. I'm tired of shit.
Yeah, we were just overall we didn't do a ton of flying. We just had a good time hanging with friends. It was a good time.
I had a little mishap. I don't think I told you guys about this though.
What?
When we got there at 1:30 in the morning or whatever time it was. So new camper, pulling in super late, trying to scramble around, get everything set up so we can go to bed. I'm tired. I'm cranky. I'm rushing around. I got Jeff Miller came over and was, trying to help me out holding flashlights and stuff like that so I can get the trailer unhooked and all that. So I bought these leveling blocks that you kind of pull the trailer up onto. They're like a triangle, like a rounded triangle. And the further you drag the trailer up, the higher it lifts the wheel, to level it out from side to side. So I put one under the wheel, pull it up on there. I'm like, great, it's almost perfect. Awesome. I go back up to the front. I start unhooking everything, take the weight distribution links off, unhooking lights, chains, all that stuff. I start cranking it up off the ball, and the trailer rolls backwards. As soon as it leaves the ball of the Jeep, it rolls backwards like 4 feet, and the tongue goes all the way to the ground. And I'm like, what in the heck just happened? And then I realized it was up on that triangled piece, and I never put wheel chocks behind the wheels to keep it from rolling backwards. The wheel chocks were like sitting right at my feet. So now I'm like full panic mode. The trailer's nosed in on the ground. We had to wedge some 2x4s underneath the frame of it and try to get because there was no wheel or anything on the jack. It was just the pipe, So it pushed itself right into the dirt. So we had to stack a bunch of wood under the frame and try to get the jack out of the dirt to get a piece of wood under it so we can jack the trailer back up without it just pushing it further in the ground. And got all that done, got it back onto the Jeep, got it back on the block, chalked the wheels, and then everything else was all fun after that. So
yeah, no, we didn't hear that story out there. We missed that one.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. Then we wrestled trying to put some water in the camper.
Oh
Because
yeah,
I
that
didn't
was
want
fun.
to. I was too stubborn to go down and ask Mitch to borrow his water pump for a second time. And then once I got home after our trip and I unloaded the camper, my water pump was in my camper the whole time.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, so we had a couple extra camp chairs in the front storage, and it's like a long, skinny, thick
Wow.
water pump. You like stick it down in, and it was laying on the in the storage with the camp chair over it. And instead of picking the chair up to move it out of the way, I just slid it over when I was looking for it, and it just slid right underneath the
That's
chair the whole
funny.
time.
That's pretty damn
Oh my
funny.
god. You guys
Yeah.
were struggling with that.
Oh yeah, that was. We had Kenny Hutton
I was just gonna say
involved.
you
There
had
was
me
like
and
4 or
Kenny
5
trying
of
to
us
figure it
trying to
out.
figure out.
That was great.
Yeah, yeah. So couple good stories out of this year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
It was a good time. So
Yeah.
overall, let's go on a 1 to 10. Okay, for the whole trip. Mike, what would you give it?
I would probably give it. 8.5.
Okay, Aaron.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna say probably 8.5, 9. I'm gonna go 9.
Wow, you're going pretty high. All right, I'm gonna feel
I'll
bad
go
because
9 with it. Mike, just because Mike and Dana were there, that gave it that extra 0.5. I had some fun people to fly with and some people to egg on and more
Yeah, we had a good time.
Mike crashing.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty fair. I would say, and I don't mean this to be overcritical, but I'd say maybe an 8. But which is still I'm always pretty rough on that type of stuff. But
Mhm.
I would say overall it was a real good time. So definitely kudos to Augie and the whole crew for putting on an event where they basically jumped in not knowing really what was all going on, since it was all new people doing this, and then trying to live up to expectations of an event that had, this was what, the 35th year. So I mean, this event has been around a long time. It was pretty big shoes to fill, and a lot of times that ends up ending in disaster. And I will say, overall, they did a fantastic job.
It was.
There's some
it was,
things that could have been
It was
better,
a little
but overall,
little bumpy here and there.
yeah, learning, but it was all learning curve.
Right.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Every one of those guys on the Urcha board was, as far as I know, was new to doing an event that size.
Yeah.
And to be able to pull it off the way they did was pretty amazing, really. And I gotta give a special shout out to Andy and Timo, because I was all over that flight line, and wherever I was, Timo seemed to be there working on something, and Andy was right there next to her. I mean, I'd be on one end of the field, drive down straight to the other end of the field, and they're already down there working on something else. It was like they were everywhere, just constantly trying to keep the show going and making sure stuff's happening. And so big shout out to them, because I know Tima especially busted her ass to make that weekend happen the way it did. So.
Yeah, and I'd like to give a big shout out to Leroy Hall.
Music man.
He busted his ass,
Yeah.
really. I mean, he was dealt some cards that he really had to try to work through, that gave him some technical difficulties that he kept working with, that I'm sure he's learned that maybe they'll do some things different for next year if he does it. But man, he was there first thing in the morning. He was already there in that sound booth, and he was going. And he was there until they closed it down at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, when they went every day. So when those light towers went off, he was still there doing it. And at first light, when they were out there right after some of these rooster pulls that guys did, and they were there doing the flying of the flag, I think they did it at 8 or 9 every morning. He was there. So, that guy was at it all day long, not sleeping, and kept going. So, that was some dedication. So he didn't get to really have a lot of time for himself. So I think that was really good.
Yeah. We, I know, me especially, I've seen Leroy, do that at a couple different events and stuff, and he's always, he likes being the music man, and out there he really he does a good job. And I know some people are critical about little mistakes here and there that he makes, but that guy is burned out to the max while he's out there trying to you figure by Saturday night, hell, I was ready to go home by Friday night. I was burned out. And he's got his most important part of his weekend is Saturday night, when he's probably the most tired of the whole trip. And mistakes happen.
So I think if I was going to give my 2 cents on that, I would say it seemed like they had all the pilots for the different competitions giving them links as to where to get the music and stuff from, and they were doing everything in like streaming form. And then they were having hiccups where they would lose signal, they were losing this, and the one thing I think they should, in my opinion, do maybe a little different is maybe the pilot has it on a thumb drive, or they have to have the music pre-downloaded ahead of time. So you're not streaming the music. The music is on, and once you hit play, there's no interruption. I think they thought it wasn't going to be an issue, but you're pretty much in the middle of bumblefuck nowhere there. And like, I know just on my cell phone, like signal was horrible most of the time.
Oh yeah.
So I know they had some other things. I don't know if they had the Starlink kind of going, if they were using that or what was all going on. But I just think,
well, not only that, but
maybe they could have did that a little bit
500 people sitting there waiting for the show to start. They're thumbing through Facebook and Instagram and all that. They're eating up all the bandwidth that he's trying to make work for him in that booth while they're waiting for him to make it work. They're using it all network, up too. Really.
Yeah, and that's, and I know that would create issues, and I think that created some issues with as far as the music went, because there were a couple of hiccups where the music wouldn't start, or the music would start, and 30 seconds in, the music would stop. Most of the guys competing were pretty much seasoned veterans that they would just roll with it and kept going and no issues. But that, as far as those events, that's really my only critique would be maybe doing something along those lines. But I'm sure that's something they've already thought about, and they're already making plans for that for next year.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Aaron?
Yeah, I don't think on that.
Oh, I thought we lost you there for a second.
It was all really well run. I think I don't think there's a whole lot they could do better aside from going back to the old school, bring your flash drive, throw your track on that. I think that was the biggest hiccup that I saw during the day, was just that.
Yeah, I think that was...
What I do appreciate that they kept rolling is from event to event, there wasn't a whole lot of downtime. When they went from, Battle at the Brands to the Night Flying, right from the Night Flying to, like, King of the Sun, or King of the Midnight Sun, everything was, like, back to back to back. We weren't sitting there waiting forever. So that was my biggest takeaway, was I could care less about consistent music. I just like the consistent flying.
Absolutely. But along those lines, too, this isn't a critique on IRCHA. This is one of the competitor kind of things is it's funny when you watch Kyle Stacy compete, because anybody that's been around for a long time, there's such an influence there from like Bobby Watts that it's just so funny to watch. His flight, the whole thing was entertaining as hell. It was awesome. If you haven't looked it up, go look up. I think it was the Battle of the Brands flight.
Yeah.
I know this is off topic what we were just talking, but it just popped into my head, so I had to say it before I saw something shiny. And find the Kyle Stacy Battle of the Brands. It was pretty freaking cool. It's creative as hell. And I just thought it was actually kind of neat. So, but anybody who's been around for a while and remembers how Bobby Watts used to do things, there's that influence there for sure. And I just think it's kind of cool to see, how that still has come and where it's at.
Yeah, I agree.
Everyone laid it down in Battle of the Brands. That was really cool to watch.
Yeah. They rushed when they got a little later on. Was it the Battle of the Brand? What was being done before the fireworks? That was a different competition?
King of the Midnight Sun. They rushed the King of the Midnight Sun.
So they were rushing. I know they were rushing that a little bit because they were trying to get to the fireworks. So I think that maybe could have been done a little different to not rush them through. Maybe plan that a little different or something along those lines. But
I think they didn't really expect to have that many pilots participate, because there was a lot of pilots that participated in that particular event.
Yeah, I think it was.
That's a good problem to have, but maybe try to start some stuff just a little bit earlier. That way you have the time to accommodate all those people.
So how many pilots you have.
Right.
Not let people last minute go, yep, I'm going to do this.
Right.
You were all trying to get me to do.
But you were going to do, and then you just never did it.
Well, I started drinking a little too early.
Maybe.
So I gave up on that.
So what about
Arch After Hours?
What's something that you guys, if you were to change something about it, what would be something that you guys would change? Bob, you go first.
Ooh, that's a good question. What would I change about IRCHA? I think I would not necessarily change, but addition to is to try a communication thing. Meaning something where it kept everybody involved or informed a little bit more. For instance, years ago they used to have what they called IRCHA Radio, where you could tune in your radio station to a certain thing and you could hear everything that was going on. You could hear the announcements that were being made. So if you're around center stage, what time this is happening, what time that's happening. The caterer showed up like an hour and a half late. You would have known all that. But they didn't have anything like that. So if you were farther out to the ends of the fields, you were kind of out of the loop and didn't have any clues to what was happening. So I would say if they found something like that to keep people more informed, that would be what I would try to do.
Yeah, I think that's good input for sure. That would be nothing but helpful.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it could be done in a way that wouldn't really require anybody else to like take on an extra job. I think it's probably a way just to have Leroy's microphone be
There is.
broadcasted.
It's exactly it. And what it does is just like a reverse RF broadcasting, and then you basically can tune your radio station like 101 point something or whatever it's chosen as, and then you would tune your radio to that, and you could actually hear what's going on at center stage. You could hear the music, you could hear the everything that's happening, so you could hear any announcements, and you could say, oh, what's going on here, what's going on there, just to keep people more informed. For instance, like I said, Saturday night, the caterer was running late, so we went to fly, but by the time we got down there was no food left. We didn't know they showed up, and I don't know if they just gave food to everybody and never took any food tickets, because I heard a lot of people complain that they didn't get food, or they were very short on food. But we didn't know, just because we were down at the end having some fun.
Something else that kind of fed into that whole chaos on Saturday was their schedule was different than it was from years past. So, like in the last few years, at least as long as I've been going there, they've always done, they do the dinner, the pilot's dinner. While you're eating the dinner or immediately after, they do the pilot raffle, and then they roll right into the flying stuff. You know what I mean? They do the Battle of the Brands, and then the night stuff, and then fireworks when there was fireworks. So for them to kind of, do the raffle was pretty early, in my opinion, because usually it wouldn't start till like 6 o'clock.
Yeah.
I think they were doing the raffle around like 3 or 4. We almost missed the raffle because it was, nobody had any idea what time it was going to be happening.
Right.
And I know they said that it's been posted on the website, but to be honest with you, I don't really look at the website, and that's not Ircha's fault, but I think there's a way to make it, a little more, like you said, broadcasted while we're out there, so everybody's kind of in the loop of what's going on all day, all weekend.
Even like what you just said. So I know they did have a schedule online of everything that's going on. If they would have had that, and maybe they did and I missed it, but maybe they had that posted somewhere at center stage area or multiple places where if it would have been posted, you could have walked up and went, oh, okay, here's what's going on this time of day. Here's what's going on, when this event's going to happen, all that kind of good stuff, and make that more accessible, because like I said, internet was absolutely horrible and not everybody knew like that was all posted.
Every fourth flight box put a post in the ground, a fence post with a sign on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the schedule, if you're not going to broadcast it. That way, no matter where you're at on the flight line, you have easy access instead of driving all the way up to center stage. Because we were down almost on the end. Yeah. And it's not like it's not a quick ride to get up there to see what's going on, to find out if it's what you're looking for or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but that's.
What about you, Aaron?
Man, biggest thing I would say, nothing directly from Ircha, but the crowds is getting people a little more alive, and that's by no fault of anyone at Ircha or anything. I think the crowds have just changed. I remember the days where people were a little more reckless and people were yelling. Like we joked we were the reckless ones going around with the bullhorn, egging people on to fly lower, fly harder, that sort of thing. And even down at center, I caught myself, we're yelling lower, and a lot of that seems to be gone away. And man, just trying to get more people into it, trying to get more people hyped and yell and get into it, because that used to be a thing. And I, again, by no fault of Ircha or anyone, generally at Fun Flies, it seems like that's kind of a dying thing unless you're at a smaller event. But I definitely miss that. I miss more of the reckless, get on the deck, get low, people yelling, screaming, egging you on. That I think was the biggest thing I missed this event. And I had to make up for it. So me and my dad were those guys this event.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we had fun that Thursday night.
Yeah. And Mike's easy to egg on. That was a lot of fun. Going out with Mike, getting him to crash the little 550. You put on a hell of a flight though before you wrecked it. That was awesome.
Video to come. I haven't posted that one yet, but it'll be there.
Oh god, that was a terrible flight. I wouldn't even waste your time.
No, it ends
That's some of the best stuff, man, is just egging people on, getting them to fly lower, flying harder. You don't have to be doing, Tarek Al-Sadi style flying. As long as you're throwing it all 110% out there, it's so cool to watch whoever fly. Just low and hard. And you have that carefree flying style, and it's so fun to watch. And I like that, because you're one of the people who takes it. I can give you shit, I can yell at you, and you do it. You do what I tell you to, and it's awesome. I love it.
I'm in this hobby to have fun. I don't, you could buy parts for every helicopter that I have. So if I'm gonna have fun, I'm gonna have fun. And if it costs me, fixing a heli, then It is what it is. I'm gonna have a good time.
Yeah.
That's why anytime Mike's going out to the flight line, I'm always walking out behind him. You know, either to spot for him or watch,
Yeah.
just because
Yeah.
You're trying
that
to
is
talk
some of
him
the
into
most
the ground.
entertaining flying style.
Yeah, you just like draining my wallet.
Exactly.
Yep.
So what about you, Mike? What would you change?
So I have a couple things in mind, two in particular. One thing that I would like to see happen is maybe just like a couple more food vending options.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad there was two. Last year there was only one. The Papa John's trailer was the only food vendor that we had last year. So I was happy to see another one there, and I'm glad, to see people supporting it, and they did breakfast and all that stuff. So hopefully them guys are able to return next year because their food was pretty good.
Yeah.
A little expensive, but it was good.
It was pretty expensive, but it was, the breakfast and stuff was worth it.
Yes, I'll give you that. The biscuits and gravy thing was pretty damn good.
But like, if you're gonna be there from Thursday to Sunday, you're not gonna want to eat pizza and hamburgers every day. You know what I mean? For lunch and dinner. So to have maybe something, and I know you guys ventured off to the control line thing and found they had a taco truck parked over there, and we got tacos the one day.
A really good taco truck.
Yeah, that was excellent. And it was just what I needed because I was kind of sick of pizza, not really feeling hamburgers, and we went grocery shopping and bought some stuff. But getting the grill out and getting it all ready and stuff's a pain in the ass.
And what did you buy? What was one of the things you bought to make?
What's that?
And what was one of the things you bought to make?
Yeah, we bought hamburgers, hot dogs, and Aaron has never experienced a foot-long hot dog, so I had to get a pack of foot-long hot dogs. That was the first thing we made, too.
I just meant you said you weren't in the mood for hamburgers because of the vendors, and then you went and bought hamburgers.
Oh, yeah.
It was
I
kind of
took
funny.
a foot-long wiener to the back. I was reaching down to grab something, and Mike whips a foot-long wiener at my back. That was awesome.
Man.
Yep.
All right,
so food vending is one.
Yep.
More options. The second thing, and I didn't really think this until I watched Kyle Stacy's flight, and that would be that I think I want to see a return of like the one style competition rather than the battle of the brands. Something that requires a little more creativity. It gets the guys a little more involved, a little more excited about it. They can make props or whatever. Because I never got to experience it in person. That was, when my first year at Ircha was the first year they did Battle of the Brands.
Okay.
But all the videos and stuff, man, it looks like so much cool shit that came out of
There's more energy.
Those competitions.
It was
like catapulting out of a box, and Bobby Watts always had some crazy stuff going on.
Oh, always. I would say though, to add to that though, like the one competition was great, but they started getting a little crazy with it, and I think why they had to try to find a way to reel it in a little bit. So I think if they did it, they would need to put some parameters on it with maybe not so crazy props or setup time. I think that's what was killing them. Some of the guys were setting up, taking too long to set things up, and then it just drug on and on and on. So I think they'd have to cap it and say, okay, well, you need to be ready, and you only have, if whatever props you're going to have, you have 2 minutes to set up, or something like that.
Right.
And then tell them this is what it is. Because they started getting kind of crazy with some of this stuff. Because I know one year, I think it was Duncan Bassion, however you say his last name. Hell of a skilled pilot. I'm pretty sure it was him, Aaron. Maybe you can correct me, but when he took the one heli off and they had it set up with GPS, he took one heli off, went into hover, set the controller down, so now it was locked into his GPS, and he took another one and started flying 3D around it. So technically there was a heli flying without a pilot, and that created a lot of stir. So you got to keep safety in mind, but if they put some guidelines on it, absolutely, I think the one would be pretty cool to show that, get the creativity and the creative juices flowing.
Yeah.
While you bring that up, while you mention the safety portion, I got to give huge props to Bert and Leroy, where they were doing amazing safety monitoring during any point of the competitions, and it happened 2 or 3 different times, at least 2 or 3. Someone would come very close or behind the flight line, and immediately, if you were halfway through your run, a quarter of the way you just started, they would tell you to land, end your flight, because some of the night flights got a little reckless, where guys were coming back beyond the flight line. And Bert was the first one out there, telling them respectfully, very nicely, but over the mic, hey, land your stuff, bring it in, as far as safety, because guys were getting a little out of hand. So I give them huge props. I've never seen that in years past, where they allow guys to get reckless, come back and be a little scary. This was the first year where they've just been like, no, land your shit. respectfully. And that was really nice to see.
Yeah, they had a pretty stern rule that if you cross the fight line, that you're DQ'd. That period, end of story.
Yeah.
And I think that's the way to do it. But I do have to call out whoever the douchebag was that went out there and pulled the pilot station cone like 20, 30 feet closer to the crowd for the night flying stuff. I don't know if you guys realized that or not, or noticed it.
No, I didn't, honestly.
I didn't notice, no.
Yeah, somebody went and moved the pilot station cone like 20, 30 feet closer to the crowd than it was for like the Battle of the Brand stuff.
Oh, was this on Saturday night?
Yes.
Okay.
When everybody was kind of moseying around using the bathroom between the two events, somebody went out there and just pulled it in like 20, 30 feet. I don't know who it was, but that's kind of, I mean, there's no reason to do that. I mean,
I
don't know.
That's not too.
That kind of got on my nerves a little bit. And then once we went to another part of it, one of the guys from our group actually went out there and moved it back out where it should have been.
Okay.
But yeah, they went through one whole, I think it was the King of the Midnight Sun, maybe. Whenever Bert called out, 2 or 3 people, that's when it was closer than it should have been.
Okay.
And after that, when they did something else, he went out there and he moved it further away.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that. I mean, they don't have the nets up anymore. They're trying to promote safety, and you got to realize, these are flying lawnmowers doing crazy stuff that are flying around. Safety's got to be number one. If there's safety issues, the event may not happen anymore, and they've got to keep that in mind.
Not only that, but
don't.
Like some of the pilots are, this is you could just go up there and sign up for this thing. It's not like you're got to be some top tier, extraordinary pilot to be able to go. And I'm not trying to say anybody wasn't that by any means, but if you were to get somebody up there that was uncomfortable because it was their first time flying center stage, but they wanted to push themselves and this and that, and you're bringing them that much closer to the crowd. There's no need for that, man. It's just,
absolutely,
let's keep it safe. Let's all have fun. Bringing that cone 20 feet closer to the crowd didn't make it that much more exciting. All it did was, just put people a little more on edge.
Yeah.
Right. And you don't have to be flying crazy to put people on edge. I mean, perfect example. Some of the biggest helis that made me on edge were some of the scale helis, and 1 or 2 of the gentlemen that came back very close and were very uncomfortable to watch fly. So you don't even necessarily have to have a 700 in your face on the ground to be on edge and be scary. If you're not controlled, you're not controlled. That's ultimately what it comes down to. And there was a couple of those. Yeah,
it could be mechanical failure or anything. But I mean, the AMA has a rule when you're doing events, you're supposed to have a certain amount of distance between the crowd or the pit area and where the flight line is actually established. And I think we were definitely not hitting that distance that's in there. So with where they moved the cone to. So
what year? Do you recall, Mike, because it's been, unfortunately, this is my first IRCHA since 2018. I haven't been there for a little bit. What year, do you know, did they stop using the netting?
As far as I recall, they only did the netting the 1 year. I think it only happened once.
Really? I thought they did it more than once.
If they did, it was twice, and that was it, because it didn't last long.
I thought it went a little longer.
They did it after, I don't remember the gentleman's name, but somebody had a helicopter, hit the tail blades on the ground and it went in the crowd.
Yep. Yeah, it hit right next to me where I was at.
Yeah.
I have some really good video footage of that somewhere.
After that event, the very next year, they had the nets up.
Yeah.
And I don't think it made it maybe a year or two after they did that. So
I wasn't sure because I thought I was thinking 17 and 18, maybe the netting was up. So maybe, I guess then they didn't do it again. And unfortunately, 19 I couldn't make because of family issues. And then the whole, pandemic thing hit and changed everything around.
Yeah.
But I will definitely this is back on my must go to thing again. I'm definitely going to be doing a little different next year, I think. But I am definitely going to be there 100%.
Yes, sir.
Good. I'm glad.
I think I'm actually going to do a little longer, though.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I'm planning on going probably the weekend before and just go for the whole week, like maybe Sunday to Sunday or Saturday to Sunday.
Yeah, it might not be that long, but I'm thinking if I drive out on a Monday.
Check out the competition stuff a little bit, and I wouldn't mind putting in a few hours to help them guys get set up and stuff. I'm willing to donate some time and help out until the event starts. But once the event starts, I want to be able to go and do my thing. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I was thinking about if I drove out, like left home, because I don't think I'm doing the evening driving anymore. I did notice on our drive, some of the roads we would take, they made a lot of traffic changes in some of the areas and made it a much better drive, which is one of the reasons I used to drive during the night. A lot of those areas have been fixed, so I can pretty much leave home in the morning, be there in the afternoon. And I'm thinking I might leave on a Monday morning and get there on a Monday later afternoon and then stay till like Sunday.
Yeah.
But I think that's what I might do. And then, if I get an RV, because I know Aaron said about not staying out that long. Larry was with me, he said about it. If anybody wants to come out and, later in the week, I'll still have a camper there, for everybody to stay in. But I think that's what I want to do, to go out. Same reason, go out, maybe check out other flying, hang out a little bit more, and just use it as a vacation to just relax and enjoy. Because it was a good mental reset for me. I really enjoyed that part of it.
Awesome. I think being able to go early and like get my personal flying done and out of the way during the week when it's not as busy and I'm not feeling like I have to be here or there or do this or do that. And then just be able to kind of hang out once, friends start showing up and it starts to get busier and you want to watch some of the flying stuff. Then you don't feel like you kind of went out there and didn't really get much flying in. You know what I mean?
Yep. So basically you want to go fly earlier in the week when Aaron's not there, so he's not being a pain in your ass talking you into the ground.
Well, not we could put it that way, or I was also thinking, on the flip side, if Aaron comes with you on Monday, then at least the parts truck will still be open by the time
I'll be there.
No
matter when he leaves,
no
matter how long I'm going, no matter how long he goes. Maybe make it a long week, but I'll definitely come out to egg Mike into the ground. So
it was a good time. And,
I appreciate it, man.
A big shout out to Dana for getting
she
out
had
there.
A blast.
I tell you, I felt bad for her because we were heckling her so much when she went to fly. Like, we put a lot of pressure on her, and Aaron talking shit while they're flying to go lower, and she did, and it was just fantastic. And to see the smiles that everybody had on that whole thing, even though 2 helis went up, technically they both came down, both of them broken, but it was.
But I don't have to egg her on for a dual
time.
flight. She was the one that brought it up to me at this event. She is one of the only people that I will confidently go up knowing she'll listen to me if I'm saying, hey, hover in the center, do that, do this, do that. She's controlled. I trust her, and she's down for it. She's one of the rare few people that's really down to go out and just have fun. And I love that shit. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's just awesome to see, because unfortunately, you see a lot of people coming out there not flying. And she was there. She did her thing. And kind of did it in a big way with a tandem, doing it that way. And tandems can be stressful, for sure, but it was a good time.
Yeah, she was more bummed she crashed so early because she didn't get to keep flying through the tandem longer,
Yeah.
Most people are like, put this thing in the ground, let's get this over with. I can't handle it. She's like, oh man, that's it.
Yeah. there'll be another one again later, I'm sure. I don't think that's the last we've seen of those tandems.
She wants me to get the Fireball fixed up for next year so she doesn't have to worry about thumping in her 420.
No. She needs to do it with something bigger. It needs.
Yeah, we've talked her into going into the soybeans and all kind of stuff with that Fireball. So Aaron will have fun if she brings that thing out.
Yeah, but I mean, for the tandem, it needs to be bigger heli.
By then, I'll have my 570 or 580. We can go rip on that, and we can both crash and break stuff together.
Awesome.
So my only other thing then, as far as and this isn't an IRCHA critique, this is an event critique. This happens at most events, and I got to say it just because. But if you're a sponsored pilot, I don't care who you're sponsored by, I don't care what company you're flying for, anything. But if you're a sponsored pilot and you're going to go out and fly, set an example and show people how to do it right. Show them how to use proper flight line etiquette. Show them how to be respectful, and like I said, set an example. Don't get a fat head. Go out there and think you can fly anywhere you want to outside of your flight box and be a dick. Unfortunately, that usually happens at IRCHA. We saw it happen a couple times. It happened once to us. But you always see it at events, and it always seems to be the guys wearing the shirt, and they think they're hot stuff. Unfortunately, you're not. You're at an event where a lot of the pilots were sponsored pilots, but when you go to smaller events, they're not always sponsored. But set an example, do the right thing, let people see the respectful way to do it the right way. So that's just my little rant. That's like a pet peeve of mine, that when guys go out and just have fat heads and think they can do what they want, but that drives me nuts.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm done with that now. So, I mean, do you think either of you guys have? I know we've covered, what could have been better, what could have been. What was the one thing? I guess maybe what was the worst thing that you think you've encountered out there? Aaron, we'll start with you on this one.
The worst thing?
Yeah, what was the worst thing, or the thing that disappointed you that you thought was going to be different?
I mean, again, by Ircha staff or nothing directly from Ircha. I'm prefacing this with I appreciate they tried this year and did what they could. But I think the biggest, I wouldn't even say worst, the biggest letdown was the fireworks for sure. And not even so much the fireworks, it was the lack of flying during the fireworks, really. That used to be like the send off of Ircha. They'd have, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sometimes night birds fully set up, flying around fireworks. One guy yelled at me for heckling a little bit just because there was no helis up. It was still a really nice firework display. That was pretty cool. But just no helis. Maybe it's just me being nostalgic because we started going to Ircha.
Yeah, we saw that era when they did a lot of that.
At some of the most, where they would have all the helis up. It was reckless. It was a party. It was a wild night flight celebration. And this, like I said, respectfully, they did what they could. It was still nice. Augie had set in motion, that they had fireworks going rather than none. I appreciate that. But I don't give a shit if it's little sparklers in the middle of the field. Fly around it. Bring some life to it. Because that was a little elongated and maybe a little slightly, I don't want to say boring, but not as entertaining as I would have thought, as if there was just helis laying it down during that.
Yes.
That was the only letdown, I guess, if you could say. It's just that, really.
They were probably worried because the fireworks were in kind of far compared to other years, because I understand, I guess it was not a huge production for the fireworks, so they weren't out a big permitted type thing. So from a safety standpoint, flying at night, you'd have to make sure you're not flying out too far. So there would have to be some kind of compromise where the fireworks would have to go out maybe a little bit farther. And then, any pilots flying at night would have to know to stay in beyond, keep it in closer, and not necessarily on that level fly through the fireworks, like they used to. But I think if we would have had some night birds flying in the air while the fireworks are going, I agree. I think that would have been pretty freaking sweet. Mike, what do you think? What would be one thing you could change, or one thing that disappointed you a little?
I would say I did get pretty frustrated on Saturday afternoon when, I could have went out to get some dinner, or maybe planned my evening a little bit better, to find out that, the food place was late, and that kind of stuff happens. That's fine. But the last I heard was they were an hour and a half behind. So we went down and started flying and doing other things, and to go back up there and there be like literally no food left for the pilots that paid for, a meal. That was pretty frustrating. I was pretty irritated at that point, mostly because I was hungry.
Yeah.
But yeah, for me to have to pay, $100 for us to go out there to fly and not even really get a meal out of it is pretty frustrating to me. You know what I mean? So essentially, we bought a T-shirt, a pass to fly for the weekend, and the meal wasn't even part of it, which I don't know. That's just me kind of being poopy-faced about it. But how you run out of food when you know how many pre-registered pilots are coming, I think maybe only give out food vouchers to the people that pre-register. You know what I mean? Don't sell them to people that register on site, because then you can't control how much food's there. If you do pre-registration, then you know how many people are coming. You know how much food to have on hand.
And I'm not even sure if they were checking for the food tickets in general.
No,
so
nobody was checking tickets at all. At least but when I got there.
Same. And I got there a little late, and they had a few brats left when I was there, but everything else was pretty much gone. But I don't think they were checking, and I didn't see anything around. And someone, can definitely let us know if we're wrong on this, but it seemed like they were just giving it out to everyone and not necessarily checking that maybe that was their inexperience, thinking they were catering an event and supposed to feed everyone, or maybe someone didn't tell them, look, you got to take these tickets and you only give food to someone who has their food ticket. There might have been a communication breakdown there. I don't know. But
or did they, tell us, they were an hour and a half behind and show up within 20 minutes, and everybody got their food and went for seconds, and that was kind of like their.
Right.
By the time we made it there, they were just trying to get rid of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah,
Which
yeah,
goes
I
back
didn't
to
end
the
up getting anything.
communication
I'm with you
thing
guys. I ate nothing.
that I talked about earlier.
I didn't even take any. I went over and bought a pizza, and I was pretty salty about it because I'm like, I was looking forward to having a good dinner and go down and relax, and now I got to go spend another $20 to buy a freaking pizza or whatever it cost.
Yeah.
Yeah, and shit. I paid 50 for registration or 140, whatever it was for. I was one of the ones that registered on site. I didn't pre-register, and I mean, I got my flights. I chalk it up to that's just the cost of IRCHA, but it would have been nice to have a decent dinner. I remember at least when they catered with Outback Steakhouse, that was good. I missed those days, but
I mean, it's.
I guess I have to complain about. That's good.
It's on the expensive side for sure to go to a fun fly. Now it's a great time, and to be able to fly all week, I think it's worth it. But the part that kind of it gets me, and this is kind of my rant. I appreciate IRCHA. I appreciate everything they do, but to force the people to buy a membership for $50 in order to come to their jamboree just doesn't sit well with me. You know what I mean? Just to be able to pull that extra $50 out of somebody's pocket, and hopefully this new board kind of makes that extra $50 worth it, like doing other things throughout the year other than just the jamboree.
Yeah.
So that you don't feel like you kind of got one over on you for an extra $50 for really no reason.
Yeah, like what other kind of deals or even, hey, we contacted, I'm just going to throw a name out there, like, Heli Direct, this weekend only, IRCHA member special, an extra 10% off or something, on certain items. BK Hobbies, for even a flash sale of 24 hours, or something, if they worked with the vendors and said, hey, it's the IRCHA special, but if you have to be an IRCHA member, so it's not available, any Joe Schmo is not going to order and get that percentage, but it's got to be a benefit of being a member of IRCHA. Something like that would definitely be cool because you could, maybe save a couple bucks and be like, oh, you know what? I needed a set of blades. Let's save a couple bucks and make it worthwhile. But I agree.
Or even like, you remember when they did the pilot proficiency thing years and years and years ago? Something like that, where it's like you feel like you're part of a community other than just paying $50 and calling it a membership for part of your jamboree fee.
I agree.
And I hope this. I have pretty high hopes this new board's gonna take it in the right direction. So it's not really I don't want the IRCHA board to feel like I'm calling them out because it's really out of their control. They just took it over. That's all new for them. So I guess we'll wait and see how that works. But that's always kind of not sat well with me that they kind of force you to buy a membership to go to the event.
Yeah, I think they have a lot of stuff to sit, and hopefully they spend the next month or so, recapping, amongst themselves, what did they do good and what did they do bad. Overall, I think they need to give themselves a big round of applause. They did pull off a really good event. I know we've said it already, but I think they did. Yeah. I think overall they did an amazing job filling in, especially being this 35th anniversary, which they did give in the swag bag. You did get some pretty neat little pins as well, for when you registered. But yeah, it's just... They just got to kind of look at it overall, and then I think if they come back, they can make a little bit of tweaking, and it may not happen all in 1 year. If they take one or two things and they make it better for next year, as long as they don't take any steps backwards, I mean, I think they're right on, and they keep the level head with them, and they keep, this is a heli event, this is what it's going to be, and they don't decide to start embezzling or doing any other crap like, whatever the other board was all doing. Mm-hmm. I think IRCHA is going to turn around, you're going to get some big numbers, because I was a little surprised to see, I think they said it was just a little bit under 400 registered pilots. I was surprised by that. I thought there was actually a lot more, to be honest.
Well, I think it was pretty known, at least to the board members, maybe not so much the pilots that were there. I think there was quite a large number of people that just showed up and started flying and didn't even bother to register because there wasn't enough like manpower there to kind of police it.
I was just going to say they weren't policing the flight line. That's where I was going to go with that, because I guess somebody said Bert estimated about 150 pilots probably, were non-registered, that they were just flying.
Yeah,
which
and if you're doing that, man, if you're going to go to an event, people that are putting it out for you, they're putting in the work, support it.
Yes.
Give them some money. I know we're sitting here kind of complaining it's a little bit on the high side, but at the end of the day, it all goes to a good cause, hopefully. With the new board members, anyways.
Yeah.
Because in years past, it doesn't seem to have went to much of a cause at all. But you're supporting the hobby. Our hobby's small. It's a tight knit group. Everybody pretty much knows everybody that's in this hobby, and the only way this stuff keeps happening is if we show up and we support it. Because when that stops, then all this stops. Then we're just going to be staring at dusty helicopters in the basement. Remembering
Absolutely.
when. So
I was good with $100, with the registering, with you got the shirt and the pins, and you had access to everything to fly, and the meal aside, I was good with that, because I've been to some places where you went and you paid $40 for something, and you went, oh really, this is all I'm getting, and had nothing. Other than maybe the ability to fly. So having a few mementos to come home with, and, plus it also gave you the raffles, the ability to enter that, maybe the chance, to walk home with a couple $100 or a couple $1,000 worth of equipment, for some people. I feel they probably think they got their money's worth for sure. Go ahead. What were you saying?
I guess I kind of retract a little bit on my statement there, because I did forget that, we do get the raffle tickets and stuff given to us. So I'll side with you, Bob. I'll say yes. It's worth the $100. I'm still really salty about the food situation.
Yeah, no, I agree. It would have been nice. I mean, obviously, I'm a fat man, so I enjoy my food. So, would I have liked to have a little bit more food? Yeah, I mean, I would have enjoyed that a little bit more, but there was so much going on. I wasn't about to let that ruin anything for me. I just kind of rolled with it, and
Yeah, if that's the worst thing out of the weekend, then I think we're doing pretty good.
Exactly. I've been at other Irchas where there were some questionable things being done for sure.
Yeah.
So I was very happy overall. So I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good year next year. 2025 is going to be a good one. So if you're listening to this and you're thinking about going to Ircha, but you're on the fence and not sure, just do it. There's no other way to do it. Just, it does get expensive when you start adding up not only your registration, your hotel or your camper, your travel expenses, your tolls, your gas. It is an expensive thing to get to when you're traveling to it, but it's a hell of an experience, because we were heckling. I apologize, I don't even remember what country they were from. And, we had the bullhorn out, we were yelling, and we were basically the loud Americans. And
that was Jonas from Germany.
Oh, yeah, I think that was Jonas, yes.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
And I scared the hell out of him with the bullhorn, so I apologize for that, but it was fun. Ultimately, they were all having a good time, but it was funny how we were the loud Americans, but it was the experience of it all. And where else are you going to get to go? You can go to your local fun flies, which is great, and that's a good time. Go support your local clubs, but you're going to go fly with people from around the world. We had Kyle Dahl coming in. He hasn't been at Ircha for a couple years. He came back, and we just had people from around the world, and you get to see these people, talk to them, hang out with them, talk about their culture, how they fly in their country, what they do, and learn about your fellow human beings. It's kind of neat.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, you gotta support it. I'm a big believer in that. If you want something, if you're enjoying something, if you're in this hobby and you enjoy flying and you enjoy being able to go and buy these products and go out and enjoy them at your club, you got to support your club. You got to support the vendors that are selling the product. I mean, it's a very small group of hobbies here. It's not a $1 billion industry by any means. So every little bit helps. So if you're thinking about going, just go. It's worth it. And plan a trip. If you can plan it to where you can stay on site and camp out, rent an RV, do whatever you got to do, stay in a tent, do it, because it's a totally different fun fly when you're there for the nighttime stuff versus when you're just, 6, 7 o'clock, you're winding down and going back to the hotel.
Yeah.
Totally different experience.
And along the lines of supporting your events, I do want to give a shout out to everyone who got some of the full package t-shirts and have been sending us in pictures with them wearing them at different places, or just wearing them and showing the support for our little podcast here. So this started off with, we weren't sure if we were going to do 1 episode or 2 episodes and then be done or sick of each other. Or it's just been kind of fun to do. It was nice to hear some positive feedback, but seeing people getting the shirts, wearing them, and then sending us some pictures through, it was kind of great to see that. That made me feel really good. So
that was awesome.
Yeah,
the support out there was really cool.
We're always
just
good
meeting new people who wanted to support and haven't listened to it, and were made aware of it out there. It was it was good all around.
Except for Bill Ann, he sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bill Ann sucks.
Bill Ann,
Unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe. Yeah, exactly. Tried to give me crap about doing a video, do one fireball video, and then he wants to go out and give me crap about it. That's all right. So everyone, if you are subscribed to Bill Ann, go unsubscribe and then send him a message that you unsubscribed because of the Full Package podcast.
Yep.
And then report all his videos for copyright.
Yeah, and then once you've sent him the message and did all that, then go back and resubscribe because he is a good dude.
He's all right.
Nah, you don't want to lose subscribers. I mean,
we love Bill.
It would be funny to see his numbers drop as long as they go back up. But he's a great guy.
Yeah, Bill has quite literally the best heli videos on YouTube. So if you want to go see, if you remember from back in the day, Run Rider, where they had incredibly high quality footage of all the flights in a pretty professional way. Bill is the modern Run Rider, if not better. He has better quality videos. He's always out there on the flight line. For Battle of the Brands, a lot of those events, he's the first one out there getting the content. And Bill not only is putting in the time to be there, but he's doing really good quality content. So go check it out.
And he's doing the I wish I'd had it. I don't know if one of you guys has it there we could say what his YouTube, what his thing is there to get people to be directed that way. But Bill is the serious side of it. He does great videos, high quality videos. I do videos as well. You can go see there at YouTube. What is it? YouTube.com/RC Speed Racer. YouTube.com/RC Speed Racer. But shameless plug. My videos though I don't have the quality equipment he does, and mine are more funny. Interact a little bit more different, but his are definitely more professional style. So
if you guys want to check it out, it's youtube.com/@ like the @ sign Bill N 8834. So definitely go check him out.
Go check him out and tell him we sent you or something. I don't know. We don't get anything from him. Again, not sponsored. He's just a good dude.
We should be sponsored by Bill Ann.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we'll hit him up one of these days for something. We'll put a little in the middle of it. We'll give a little advertisement for him.
He'll give us like some sweet Bill Ann camera lens covers or something.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see about that. I'll have to ask him.
Or if he ever fires that cooking show back up, maybe we'll get a sweet Bill Ann spatula.
So do you have, I guess we're wrapping up, getting close to the end here. What's next for you, Mike? You got any events? What are you hitting up next?
We're actually, this coming weekend, we're doing a turkey fry at our club. Kind of an impromptu thing I threw together last minute. We're going to go out, camp out Friday night, Saturday night, come home Sunday, and fly all weekend.
Nice.
Deep frying a turkey, and gonna be bring a covered dish and come hang out and fly. So it'll be fun.
Anyone else coming out?
That sounds
awesome. Is it just club members?
Club members. We didn't really advertise it. Like I said, it was impromptu. So I went to a local fun fly on Saturday, and did a couple flights, and invited some people out from that field, and just trying to support the clubs in our area.
There you go.
And offered them to come out and get some food, and it's all donation, no landing fee, nothing like that. So if you're in Northeast Ohio and you want to come hang out this weekend, shoot me a message on Facebook and I'll get you the details.
What's your club? Okay, I was gonna say I didn't know if you want to say your club name on here or not. Then
yeah, it's Nighthawks RC Club. You can message us right on our Facebook page.
Cool. Aaron, what do you got coming up?
Coming up, work, and more work. And then hopefully soon get into a 580, 600 size heli. Coming up here real soon within the next month or two. I do want to end up getting another kit.
Nice.
Get something built over winter here so I can have something a little more modern of my own to beat on. So I'm not wrecking my 600 constantly. But that's really what I have coming up. Just looking forward to hopefully getting more flights. Hopefully even maybe flying through the winter. If I have my own stuff here at my apartment, can get out, and I have a field down the street I can go. It's pretty big to fly at. And honestly, just looking forward to do more flying in the near future.
What about no drift events or anything coming up for you?
No. I was actually going to go to a weekend at Evergreen here just to spectate. But I can't go spectate. That kills me.
Yeah.
I'll only go spectate the big drift events. If anyone who knows Final Bout, I love going to those events. Not at the level to drive at those yet. But normal grassroots level events, I cannot go and spectate because it's like going to a heli fun fly and not flying. You have that same urge. I got to be out there. So I'll avoid the FOMO and just try and hit an event probably October.
Nice.
So the events aren't over, but not soon.
Yeah, for me, I don't have a whole lot going on. Again, working, doing a lot of stuff. I do have the Helly's Going Wild is, I believe, at the Ocean County Modelers, September 13th, 14th, 15th. Unfortunately, I got to work the whole weekend, but it's about an hour and 45 minutes from me. So I'm going to make an effort on the 14th, that's Saturday. As soon as I'm done with work, I'm going to head there and be able to hang out for a few hours, maybe get some videos. Kind of see what videos Bill Ann wanted to get, and then kind of jump in and try to steal them from him, see if I can pull them off. But we're gonna get out there, maybe get a flight or two in. We'll see how that's gonna go, and just kind of go around and socialize, shoot the shit with guys, and have some fun. I think that might be the only event I'm gonna get to anymore this year. But yeah, coming up. So the beginning of September is I'll be married 30 years. So,
oh wow, congrats.
Yeah, 30th anniversary is coming up. We did a big trip to celebrate earlier this year, but we're going to try to do a little weekend getaway too. So that's going to tie up some time away from heli stuff. So, but I think it's, worth it, a little more important. But
Mom really put up with you for 30 years.
30 years. Yep. Good times.
She's a good woman for that.
Absolutely. So that's all I got coming up. Nothing overly exciting. So, all right, guys. Well, I guess that's going to about do it for this episode. I know we were pretty heavy on heli stuff lately. We're transitioning back through, and we're going to try to do a little bit more car stuff, car content. Couple things. Maybe we'll do some stuff on the drifting. Talk to a couple people about possibly coming on guest wise, car wise. So hopefully, any heli guys, if you're interested in RC racing, maybe you want to tune in, learn a little bit about another area of the RC hobby, or vice versa. We can get car guys into helis, heli guys into cars. Mix it all up. It's all a good time. So I don't know, Mike, Aaron, do you guys have anything you want to add in here at the end before we sign out?
I just want to say, if you guys are interested in, being a guest on the show, hit us up. We're always looking for something to talk about or people to meet or hang out with. So if you're interested, send us a message on our Facebook page, and we'd be happy to work it in.
Absolutely.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Aaron, if you got something you want to add.
No, I was just agreeing to that. I said, yeah.
Okay. Thought Aaron had a little something extra to add there. Maybe something for Twisted Tea or something. All right, guys. Thank you very much for listening. We appreciate you coming back and supporting the show, and we will see you on the next one. You have a great night.
See you guys.